Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. Although this is one of those ones I've listened to a few times, but all in a row, so I guess it counts. Actually, all in a row over the past couple days. It's by the band Avantasia, and it's called A Paranormal Evening with the Moonflower Society. Was not really sure what to expect with this because it kind of sounds like it might be a concept album. I don't know what's going on in my voice there. I'm still not shaking this cold yet. But anyway, it's not going to stop me from doing this. I wasn't really sure what to expect, with a title like that, but it doesn't seem to be a concept album unless I'm just missing it, but nothing really seemed like it was on here, but at least lyrically, but musically it kind of flows like one. It was, of course, most of their albums do. Now, if anybody doesn't know who Avantasia is, it was founded by Tobias Sammet. I hope I'm saying that right. It was just kind of a thing he came up with years ago where he just wanted to get a bunch of different vocalists together and record a bunch of songs he had written that weren't going to work for his band. He was in the band Ed Guy, for anybody who doesn't know. And, it was called the Metal Opera. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. The more people wanted to become involved with it, singers, a few guest guitarists here and there. Mainly it's been him writing everything, and along the line there he hooked up with Sasha Paith. I hope I'm saying that correctly as well. And it's been kind of like the two of them. Sasha's like the mega producer. This style of music, like Camelot he's worked with, Apica, like 1,000 other bands in that style. He plays guitar on like a lot of these Avantasia albums. In fact, most of them, once he started after the third one, actually I don't remember which one he came on board with, but it was fairly early on. And on this album, it's Tobias doing the vocals, keys, and bass. You got Sasha playing guitar, bass, and of course producing and mixing. And then on drums, they have Felix Bonke, which I'm not really familiar with him, but it's like, they've got a couple extra people here and there. Albert Hartman does a little bit of lead on one of the tracks, and a little extra help on some keyboards and backing vocals, but it's mainly just those three guys making all the music. It's kind of like that on most of the albums. It's Sasha and Tobias, and then drummer and maybe one or two other people helping out. But it sounds like a band, so I guess that's all that matters. And it sounds big. It's it's kind of power metal. It's kind of theater. I don't know. They tell stories in it. There's different vocalists sharing different roles in the songs, and it's very unique. And if you ever get the chance to see anything on the Wacken, I'm probably saying that wrong too. I really apologize if I'm saying all this stuff wrong. So they're all German, and I don't speak German too well, so I apologize if I'm like killing these names, but it's still great to watch. I love this style of music. I love all the music that comes out of like Germany, and it's kind of like, it's funny because Sweden has like that type of music too, but Germany is always just a little bit heavier and edgier with their stuff that comes out, I think. I don't know what it is in the water over there, but they have a little bit more of an edge, a little bit harder edge to their music, I think. And it's still like very accessible though. I was lucky enough to be able to catch Ed Guy in concert like years ago. This is like way back when I started listening to Avantasia, and it was because of my experience with Ed Guy. They opened up for Camelot at I can't remember the name of the club, but it was out in Cleveland. And I was asked, this bunch of friends, they had an extra ticket. I was not really familiar with these bands that much. And there were some other bands that were doing there's like side stages that were, they were playing. And I got to ride out there with them. And it was great. I mean, I never heard Ed Guy before. They came out and blew me away. Tobias was like one of the best frontmen I think I've ever seen. He was funny, he knew how to perform, and he could sing his butt off, and he just got the crowd really excited. Camelot was great too, but I mean, Roy Khan is not like the type of frontman that whips the crowd up into a frenzy like Tobias did. Great singer, but two totally different styles of performing for sure. So, when I heard about Avantasia, I was like I was all in, and I have been ever since. Some of my favorite songs in the style of music is from Avantasia. So when this album came, I know I'm really making this a long intro to this, but this album was like really highly anticipated by me. So it didn't let me down. I'll just get right to it. It didn't let me down. First listen through, I was like kind of like, all right, yeah, it's okay, it's good. It's kind of what I would want to hear. A few more listens in, I'm picking up stuff and I'm getting into it. Yeah, I do the read along with the lyrics the first time through because I want to see if there's something going on, and I think that sometimes that maybe was a little distracting from the music. So when you just listen to it and take it in without reading along, I got a little bit more out of it, and I really like this album. He's got some great guest vocalists on this one. He's got a guest vocalist on every song except the first one. Welcome to the Shadows is the first song. It actually starts kind of slow. For an album opener, and then it builds up, and it kind of slows back down again, builds back up again, and it's got these like ebbs and flows quite a bit in that very first song, and then the whole rest of the album does the same thing. It kind of feels like you're going on a ride, and I like albums that do that. It feels like you need to listen to the album as a whole to get the whole understanding of it or the feel of it, and I just really enjoy it when albums do that. He's got Ralph Sheepers singing on The Wicked Rule the Night. Great song. Kill the Pain Away. He's got Floor Jansen singing on it, which is kind of, I don't want to say it's ballady, but it's a little bit slower, but it's not really a ballad, I don't think. And then, man, Michael Kiske sings on The Inmost Light. That pair he sings on some other past stuff too, but Michael Kiske has got like one of the best metal voices ever. Halloween was like one of those bands that when I first heard them, also the same thing. Just love that style of music. We're talking like late 80s, when I was getting into all that, so it was really cool. The Floor sings again on the next one, Misplaced Among the Angels. I'd actually heard this one before. I think it was on YouTube or something. I'd heard this one because as soon as I heard the song, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard this one before. So I listen to so much music that I actually sometimes don't remember where it is I first heard them from, but great song. They just have these such big choruses in them. That song is one of the ones that really just it sticks in your head. You can't get it out of your head once you've heard it. I Tame the Storm. It's got Jorn Landy singing on it. That one's heavy. It's probably one of the heaviest ones on the whole thing, which is perfect for Jorn because he's got a powerful voice. He just really, really knocks this one out of the park. Paper Plane has Ronnie Atkins singing on it. It's also kind of more mid-tempo-y, but I think it sounds to me like Ronnie really went and gave it his all on this song. I know he was diagnosed with some type of illness here a couple years ago, and he's been really busy putting out stuff, even a solo album, which is a really great album. I should have done a review on that one because that's a really good album. Just check that one out. And then we get to song number 8, The Moonflower Society, which is, the closest thing we have to the title song on this whole disc. And my opinion, probably the weakest song on the album. It's got Bob Catley singing on it. Catley, I don't know, maybe. But that one's okay. Nothing's bad on here, but it's definitely not as big and ear-catching as the rest of the album. And to my surprise, it's got Eric Martin singing on Rhyme and Reason. It's another, just rocker, good song. Eric's got such a very distinct voice. It really blended well, I thought, with Tobias. And I actually haven't mentioned how much I think Tobias is like just a powerhouse singer. I know I've read things, I've heard people get on him about his voice because he's got a really strong tremolo when he sings, and he's very high pitched when he sings, but I don't know, to my ears it sounds really good. I like it. I think the style of music he does, great. I love the Ed Guy stuff. I really can't wait till I hear another Ed Guy album. The last one they did was kind of one of the weakest ones, so I hope they could do something new. But some of their earlier, not their super early, but actually the middle of their career stuff, I guess, is probably some of my favorite. The early stuff, you could tell he was still learning how to use his voice, but once he learned, I think, man, he just nails it. Not to mention he's a great musician. He writes all this stuff. He played bass back in the early days of Ed Guy, then became just a singer, but he obviously plays guitar pretty good too because he writes all this stuff. And yeah, that brings us to song number 10, Scars, which actually has Jeff Tate singing on it. Man, and the one thing I like about it, he picks singers, because all these singers don't sound like him. They all sound different from each other, and it just makes it a very unique listen, but all the music blends together so well that it just feels like it's a big production. It feels like it's telling a story, even if this one might not be. I don't know. I didn't catch it, so maybe after listening to it a few more times I will, which I'm sure I will, because I really like this album, actually, after several listens now. And let me tell you, track 11, Arabesque, that I think is the best song on the album. Probably one of the best songs they've ever done. It's funny because it's called Arabesque and it's got an Arab type feel to it, but not in the way that I'm used to hearing some other bands do. Like Camelot comes to mind because they have a song, Arabian Nights, that, they all have that same, when anybody tries to do this type of thing, it all has that same feel to it. Even in the band Brandy Lies, we have a song that has a little bit of that in one of the songs. And he does this in a different way, and it's very upbeat. It's a long song, too. It's like a 10-minute song. It's got Jorn Landy and Michael Kiske singing on it as well. And it doesn't seem like it's 10 minutes long. It's like, it's over. It's like, oh, it's over. What? you want to hear more. So that's always a good sign. When you want to hear more, that's a good sign. So, man, I know I just kept going on and on about this one, but it did not let me down. I know it took me a week to get this out, but it's because I didn't get anything ahead of time on this one for whatever reason, I don't know. But so I went down to my local record store the day it was supposed to be released, and the two workers they had working there, I didn't even know who this band was. Kind of sad. Didn't even know who I was talking about. They said they had a shipment out back, but they weren't willing to go look through it and see if they actually had it there. So yeah, they told me to check back in a few days, and I was basically, nope, I'm going to order this one. And that's what I did. Got on Amazon, ordered it in, and it took me a few days to get it, and I didn't want to rush out a review without listening to it a few times. And I'm glad I didn't, because it was definitely worth the wait, and definitely worth me listening to it a few times instead of just rushing something out there. And I hope you guys really enjoyed these reviews and liked what I had to say about this one, because I really have fun doing this. So yeah, especially when an album like this comes out, and it really, really, really gets me excited to talk about it and let everybody know how good it is. You really got to go out and check these bands out. I just think it's fun. I love when other reviewers bring like new bands to my listening. Hopefully I'm doing that for somebody else. If you guys out there know of any other bands that this style, or that have connected somehow with Avantasia, yeah, drop it in the comments. I really want to know about this stuff. I love finding new music, and yeah, I really, really enjoy hearing from you guys. So like, subscribe, comment, share, all that fun stuff I always have to ask for. Hate asking for it, but it's kind of the nature of the game, I guess, just to keep the conversations going. So until next time, talk to you later. See you.